morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to video message number 29.
Let's smack it in the ass.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that huck and spit on that thing. You get me?
Oh, that's nice.
Listen up, the ratings just came in for last month. We are number one. We just grabbed every key demographic. Super duper, gang. Yeah. Super duper. That's nice. Way to go. Neato, gang.
Yes.
Boy, that is good news.
On your side, you hear the distant thunder. There's lightning in your stride.
Welcome to the Power Trip Morning Show. It's Tuesday, September 17th of 2024. I'm Cory Cove. There's Meat Sauce Paul Lambert, and there's Zachary Halverson. Good morning, fellas. Power Trip.
How are you?
Good. You?
I'm great, man. Real good.
Great.
Top of the morning. Good. Yeah.
There's Max. Max is walking in.
Never
I assume
that.
he just biked in. What did you just say? Top of the morning to you?
Top of the morning.
Yeah.
People say that.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I don't get it. Isn't that an Ireland thing? Top of the morning to you. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was a great Irish accent.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get a Brazilian accent from John Bonus when he walks in the door. I can't wait to hear the Brazil breakdown.
Oh, yeah. Same.
He watched the Eagles win.
Yeah, and then they lost last night, which was great.
They sure did. The Kirk freaking Cousins and Drake London. If you didn't stay up, they got it done late. 22-21. The Eagles lose to Kirk. Primetime Kirk.
When the Falcons turned the ball over after getting stuffed on that fourth and whatever it was, I turned it off.
Same.
And then I rolled over and I just wanted to see if,
Roll over, buddy.
The Eagles had rolled down and scored. They didn't. I'm like, let's turn this back on. Zacho and I just watched the last 6 plays or whatever it was. A, that was a clinic by Kirk Cousins. B, he wasn't pressured in that entire draft. Zacho nailed it. The prevent defense has never prevented anything.
That's a hot take. You're the first guy to think that.
I know. It's pretty wild to not really be ever a coach of a football game, but understand that if you hold a team to 15 points through 58 minutes of play, maybe don't change everything you know about defense because oh boy, you're trying to. I mean, it's ridiculous. It was way too easy for Kirk. God bless him. He's a great quarterback, but come on,
just drenched in sarcasm.
What are you doing? That was not bright.
So the prevent defense prevents you from winning.
Correct.
That's you know how many times my dad has called me and said exactly that?
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty funny. Give him my number.
7,000 times. He would love to probably get the scuttlebutt on the Wild. What do you know about the Wild? They start on Saturday.
My goodness.
Can my dad call you?
Yeah, sure. Give him my number. We'll talk.
What are you hearing about the Wild? He asked me.
Wild.
What are you hearing about so-and-so? Dad, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, what do you mean?
I don't report. I have a journalism degree that went absolutely nowhere.
Nobody in this town reports.
No, nobody does.
Yeah. The only thing we're hearing is the Twins collapse. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when the Wild are up late in the game, they don't all sit back in their own defensive zone and just hope that they don't get scored on. Yeah, that's exactly what that was. Ugh.
So it prevented them from winning.
Yeah. I can see your dad saying that, too.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah, your dad loves sports cliches, he's great. I've met him multiple times. He's great. But I can see him calling you and be like, I just don't get it, Cor. Prevents you from winning.
About a week ago, not 2 months ago, about a week ago, he goes, what are you hearing about J.J. McCarthy? I'm like, in terms of what, his recovery? No, just in general. I'm like, dude, I'm not calling members of the Vikings PR staff and going, I know he's hurt, but
how is he?
Do we got something here or not?
How is he doing?
I got to know. What are you guys thinking? So I go, Dad, who would I even talk to?
Yeah.
Why would I ask him that? I just go home and watch poker. You know that. And he goes, I know. Just thought maybe you'd heard something from PA or something. I don't talk sports with PA.
No.
No.
I just have to get out of the room without getting tickled.
Right.
Right? Like, I have to get through that door when he's walking in just without getting my sides touched. I don't have time to ask him, what is the deal with McCarthy? Do we got something?
And do you ever just sit in the back of the room and hope he doesn't come tickle you? No, you actually
I get
maneuver
aggressive
your
and get
way.
out.
You move.
Yeah.
Imagine if you called like Sam Newton and you were like, hey, Sam, what's going on? He's a Vikings PR guy. And you were like, hey, what's going on with McCarthy? Like,
And then he would ask the same thing I asked my dad. Like,
Why?
you mean his
Yeah.
recovery?
Yeah.
No. Just like
How
in
is he?
general. Is the vibe down there at TCO like, do you guys got something with him? Or like, what are you hearing?
right. You'd
Go-
be like, why, Cory,
Hearing with what?
you never called me once in my life.
Right.
Why are you talking?
Sam would be, are you in danger?
Yeah, exactly. Some kind
is
of
this a code word?
cry for help.
Say the name. Say Michigan if you need me to call the cops.
It's not information for me. It's for my dad.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Think of, Sauce, how long have you and I known each other now? Like, I don't know, 17 years, something like that, right?
I mean, it's almost
Something like
it's
that.
almost
Whatever
20.
it is.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if I called you at 2:00 in the afternoon and just said, "Hey, you reach out to the Vikings once in a while. What are you hearing about McCarthy?" Would you do a wellness check
Yeah.
on me?
Yes.
Would you call Ab and go, something's up, man?
No,
Cory just called me and asked me about McCarthy's vibe at TCO.
I text your wife and be like, is Cory missing?
Right.
Like, is he okay? Yes. If you called me and the first thing you initiated was sports conversation, I would think
And gossip, sports gossip and
I would
rumors.
think you fell.
Yeah.
And like, hey, maybe you need to stop having ladder time. That's what I would think. Get off the ladder.
Get off of there.
Yeah.
There would legitimately be a SWAT team at your house.
Yeah. I would think you were held
Yes.
hostage.
I think regardless of the content of the conversation, if you were calling anybody at 2 p.m. in the afternoon,
Point.
That's a good point.
Right. Yeah.
Man, the last couple of weeks, everybody on the planet texts me at like 11:30 in the morning. That's nap time.
Yeah.
I'm never going to respond if you
All the
text me at
time.
11:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've just been bombarded the last couple of weeks, right around nooner. No.
Yeah. No, do
Nappy
that.
time.
Yeah.
Is there anything worse than like going down to take a nap and then right as you're about to go nap, you get a text and it's like an important text message that you got to like deal with now?
Oh, just ignore it.
Awful.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Oh, I
cool
do that all the
opportunity.
time. Just ignore it, and then you wake up, and then you roll out of bed, and like 3 hours later, you go, "Sorry, was napping. What's up now?" And then the problem's been fixed.
Correct.
Somebody else dealt with it.
That is the best.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's I like to nap around like 1.
Ooh, that's a late nap.
Yeah, I like to nap around 1.
Yeah.
For how long?
A couple hours.
Then what time do you go to bed, though? How do you fall back asleep if you sleep until 3?
Well, I didn't go to bed last night till like 10:30 because I watched that the football game. My big thing is when it's football season because we're already in week 3. The first 2 weeks flew by, right? When it's football season, it's worth staying up and not getting enough sleep to watch football because it'll be gone before we know it. I try and watch every football game. I don't know how much of this week's Thursday night football game I'll watch, but like I love football enough that I'll stay up. So, but on other nights, I'm in bed by like 7:15.
Plus, it's good training for you because you aren't going to get enough sleep not too long from now.
Correct.
So
I played golf 2 weeks ago with a couple of dudes, and they wanted to play at 2:45. And I said, that's too late. And they were like, why? I'm like, well, I go to bed at like 7:30. I need my like 45 minutes to get home. And so we played at like 1 so I could get home in time. Because 6:45 getting home is too late for me.
Why are you going to lose sleep in the next couple of months?
My wife's having a baby.
You impregnated her?
Yeah, I
when
did.
When was that?
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm shocked you didn't know
Good for
that.
you.
Yeah. By the way,
Boss that bet.
does your dad know?
Yeah, he knows.
I'll text him and let him know.
No, it's not going to Cory.
He meant my dad.
Oh, my dad knows. Be
What's
weird
the
if my dad
sauce scuttlebutt?
It'd be weird if my dad didn't know.
he's just like, what?
What? By the way, this segment brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota, gutterhelmetmn.com. Never clean your gutters again.
Right, get off that ladder, right? Get
off
down
the
from
ladder.
there, Dad. What are you doing?
Yeah. I had a gentleman. So yesterday,
You had a gentleman.
that's a weird way to stop the story. I'm in my front yard digging up weeds to like get ready for the winter morns or whatever.
What? You expecting a death?
No, but like it gets cold out, right? And I'm getting all the stuff.
It gets cold out in the winter. All right. Well,
Winter
I'm following
Morns
you.
sounds like an indie rock album title.
Yeah.
Hawk Love.
Hang on, guys, listen. He's talking about how the winter gets cold. Continue.
And
What?
I had this gentleman walk over, lives in my neighborhood, super friendly, and he was like, "Hey, I noticed some of your trees need to be cut down." I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, I can't have him because he like offered. He's like, "I'll cut him down. I have this cool saw thing." He was probably in his late 70s. And he's like, "I just can't get up on a ladder. My wife doesn't let me get up on the ladder." I'm like, "Yeah, sounds good." And then I thought to myself, I can't have me standing in the front yard watching this older gentleman do yard work for me. It would look weird.
So you went in the house?
No, so then I picked up more weeds and talked to him for a while and went back in. But point of the story that I'm getting to is he looked up and he was like, "Man, what are those on your gutters?" And I told him the whole spiel. He's like, "It's a cool invention." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have to get up on the ladder and ever clean them again." And then he wandered back away, but it was very nice.
So he did like your gutter helmet.
He loved the gutter helmet.
He did or did not cut down these trees?
Not yet, but he said he would. He said he's got this like cool
So a guy that's
saw
pushing
contraption.
80 is going to get up on a ladder with a chainsaw and cut down trees for you.
I guess.
And you're going to watch him and pull weeds gently.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. See, here's what I do.
Sounds about right.
I do stuff horribly enough where people just be like, "I'll do it."
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
the Ben Lieber theory, right?
It's the
How he
Homer Simpson bit.
Right, how he talked about going to a Mall of America
Yeah.
with his wife, Abby, and it was such a disaster that she's never asked him back. And he said, advantage him.
Yeah, but I like spending time and I like to be around people because I need people to talk to. But, yeah. So if you drive by my house, you'll see me supervising an older gentleman cutting down trees on a ladder. Oh, no! Gee.
Oh,
That crunch doesn't have to be there.
right.
Seems a bit unnecessary to me.
Yeah, man.
Leaves are harder than usual this year.
Wow, is that guy okay?
Not only is he willing to do the work, he's also admitting to you that he thinks you're being negligent.
Yeah, basically,
Right.
It's like, you don't want those to fall in your house.
Right.
I'm
So
like,
he's like, you're doing a bad job of being a homeowner, and you look like you're in your 40s, so I'll do it for you.
yeah, you look worthless.
What a mess.
But he loved my gutter helmet and gutterhelmetmn.com.
He sure did.
He loved them.
John Bonus is supposed to be here. He's been gone the last couple of weeks because he went to Florida for a little bit to watch some baseball. Then he went to Brazil. Maxwell, you've been there.
Yes, sir.
I doubt you and Bonus did Brazil the same, but I can't wait to compare and contrast.
I'm very curious to see what he did there.
I can't wait.
We've heard the scuttlebutt that there were some really dicey things about the Eagles-Packers situation in Sao Paulo, Brazil. But Bonus was there. Let's get the firsthand story at some point here, whether or not it was as dangerous and dicey as others have said. Power Trip Morning Show packed today. Marnie Gellner will be here in a little bit. Mark Rosen in a little bit. Jonathan Grenard of the Minnesota Vikings will be calling in the 8 o'clock hour. And, of course, John Bonus right around the corner as well. Power Trip Morning Show back after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
Back from Brazil, look at Johnny Bones. John
kids.
Bonus, the Twins geek himself, twinsdaily.com, believing in the geek.
Zone
Hockey
coverage,
Wilderness.
Hockey Wilderness, Brew Fanatic,
A lot of websites.
Blacked.com.
Oh, you own that?
TalkSocks.com.
You could be.
Whoa, say that
You could be
slow.
Riley Reid.
PrestySocks.com.
Talk
You know Riley
Sox.
Reid?
We just started up a new Red Sox website.
Oh, that's
yes.
Red Sox.
if you
I don't
own
know
that
why I
website,
assumed it was
I have
White
one
Sox.
of those.
Oh.
Both.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Lots of questions. Lots of questions. First of all,
right.
you went to Florida for a couple of days right
That is
before going to
correct.
Brazil.
Yes. We,
So-
to knock off our last two Major League Baseball stadiums.
And
I mean, we saved those two for last, not because they were the best. We knew we'd been kind of putting them off. We didn't want to be in Florida in the middle of August. So we found ourselves in Florida in the middle of August, basically. And neither stadium has got that great of a reputation. I probably enjoyed Tampa Bay more than I thought I was, partly because of the nostalgia of being in a place that's a little bit like the Metrodome, and because the area around it has a lot of good craft breweries. So there's stuff to do before and after.
Yeah, there it is.
And then the Florida Marlins one, I would say, was worse than I thought it was going to be. The stadium itself was great, very kind of U.S. Bankish in terms of, but is also basically empty because the Marlins are terrible, and the area around it is truly brutal. There's just nothing to do in that particular area. You've got to go at least 20 or 30 minutes, or a 30 minute walk away to kind of get to anything worth doing, other than one tiny little hole in the wall bar that we found. So
shocking.
Yeah.
And then
we got a nose for those.
And then you went to Brazil.
Then we went to Brazil.
All right, let's walk through that, because Max has been there. Again, I don't think you guys did the trip the same, but
no.
Bonus probably partied harder than I did.
We heard a lot of things about Brazil being dangerous, that the teams were concerned, that the field was garbage, that it was just dicey as hell even getting to the game. How many days ahead of time were you there?
We were there. Well, we were supposed to be there 2 days ahead of time. We basically arrived the day before. We had problems with our flight. Our flight got canceled, so it was a good 28-hour excursion to get from Miami on what was supposed to be a nonstop flight to Sao Paulo. So we didn't get that much time before the game itself. I would say I expected Sao Paulo to be sort of like the New York City of Brazil. It was more like the Bronx than New York City. Meaning, like, New York City has a lot of, Manhattan and skyscrapers and that sort of thing. Sao Paulo didn't invite you. It's just that it's not a seductive place. Whoa. Like say Rio is, I think they did a really nice job of organizing what they could organize out of that piece, like getting in and getting to the game, getting out of the game, etc. But the public transportation, not just public transportation in that city in general is just a disaster. It took us 2.5. It is supposed to be about a 45-minute or half-hour, 45-minute drive from the airport to our hotel, which is right in the middle of the city. It was about 2.5 hours.
Jeez.
The traffic is just unbelievable during rush hour or during any time there and out. And the public transportation, there isn't. The public transportation system is extensive, but somehow you've got to make like 3 transfers every time you want to go someplace. It doesn't all like go to one hub and you just jump and you go to the other one. So getting around there was just a challenge. And the place itself is, like I said, I mean, it's industrial. It's a city, the downtown city, but there isn't like parks and funny. We the last day we kind of went to their Central Park and walked around there, and that was very pretty. We enjoyed that, but it took us a long time to like find anything like that. Took us several days to do that.
How safe did you feel?
We felt real safe. I mean, we're in I think they had security and such on overtime in that, for the NFL, for people visiting. So I think that was part of it. We were also staying in a pretty nice area. I don't know if I would have, from that stadium, would I have felt comfortable going around and trying to find a bar someplace near that stadium to play. I mean, we took a look. The closest one was 20 minutes, 30 minutes away, and I'm not sure I'd have felt that comfortable walking there. But it was also midnight on a Friday night. Yeah. Or 12:30 at night by the time that game ended. We did think we often will finish up rather than challenge the subway or the crowds that naturally come from driving to a game or public transportation. We'll go out to a bar afterwards for an hour and then wait till it settles down and then leave, right? And this time we kind of looked and then said that's not really even an option. And then leaving that stadium to get back to our downtown place, like whereas it took maybe 45 minutes to take the subway there, it took almost 2 hours to get back. Partly because it was just 50,000 people leaving a stadium, and there's no parking around that stadium. There just is no parking. So you're either Ubering or you are taking public transportation for the most part. And, there's only so many Ubers for 50,000 people.
Yeah. Hey, do we know why the game was in Sao Paulo and not somewhere like Rio?
Like Rio. Here's what I heard. What I heard was, well, I mean, first of all, it's a world. I don't know if world class stadium is the correct word, but I mean that Sao Paulo soccer team is worth $500 million. Like that is a legit big, professional organization, and they have got a brand new stadium. So that was it. I don't know enough about Rio's stadium situation to know what they have or what they don't have. I do know they have 3 Series A soccer teams within that city. My guess is that they may try to do one in Rio next time, because what I've heard is that the long-term plan for the NFL is to try and get like 2 teams in Brazil, and then have like the 2 Florida teams and the 2 teams in Brazil be one league or one division, right? Because while it is a 7-hour, 8-hour flight, it isn't 7-8 hours across time zones. You're only off one time zone from the whole East Coast, so you don't have to worry about the jet lag thing as much. You just have to worry about, well, it's a long commute. It's maybe even as similar to an East Coast team going to a West Coast team and back in terms of overall uncomfortability, because you don't have to deal with the time zone change. So that's what I've kind of heard. So I wouldn't be surprised if they said, well, let's start with Sao Paulo. It's the bigger city. It's the more developed city. Rio's just a lot more seductive city because it's on a beach. It's a huge beach town.
What cities in the U.S. would you say are seductive?
Good question.
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse, Wisconsin. Okay, well, let's skip the obvious ones. Let's do a little bit of a deeper dive. So lacrosse for sure, but
Sure.
John, give me, was Tampa Bay seductive?
I would not say Tampa Bay seductive. I say Miami on our way back is a little more seductive.
Is that right?
I think New York is seductive.
Do you consider Las Vegas, Nevada to
I
be
would say
seductive?
I would put that at the top of the list.
What about Butte, Montana?
I would not put Butte, Montana up there. No.
Just, that was a
Missoula,
test.
maybe?
What about the Dells?
Shakopee.
Blaine?
Blaine's pretty sexy.
Let's go Blaine/Coon Rapids. Let's put them as the twin cities of the north.
What about perhaps the most seductive town in America? Climax, Minnesota.
Sure.
Sao Paulo
I think
or
you're
Climax?
past the seductive in Climax.
Oh, jeez.
So, Max, did you get to Sao Paulo or you were just in Rio?
I was only in Rio, yeah. I was kind of the same reason. It's funny hearing Bonus say that, because when I was weighing my options between which one to go to, looking at the cities just from images and videos and stuff, Rio was incredibly more inviting than Sao Paulo.
Oh,
It's
for
just it's just city, like you can go a lot of places for just city, but Rio has the rainforest, it has beaches, and Rio was just a lot more inviting in general. And that's kind of what I heard from Brazilians as well, that they kind of like Rio better than Sao Paulo.
So just to fact check here then, Max, you selected the more seductive of the 2 cities?
I know. It's really out of character for me.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
But I was trying to just, get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I was like, I don't really do well with the sensual, with the seductive.
Right. So John Bonus picked the industrial one with sports.
and hole-in-the-wall bars.
Max took the seductive rainforest.
And a fairly decent craft beer scene, I'll be honest with you.
All of this seems to be pretty logical. I don't know, man. We got to get a team in London way before we go to Brazil. I understand the time change. It's what is it, 6-hour difference from us?
Yeah, sure.
Which means 5 hours from the East Coast, but still. Let's get one in London way before we put 2 in Rio and Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Right? We don't even have a Canadian team.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's close, but we don't even have a Canadian team yet.
Well, and while it's easy to say, listen, the 2 teams that are in Florida, or 3 teams that are in Florida or something, can play with that one down there. It's not that out of the way for all of them. They're going to have to play other teams in the NFL. Like, they're going to have some games versus the Seahawks in Sao Paulo if they end up, establishing something. That's going to be...
Well, Goodell keeps talking about this as we continue to expand, right, and hopefully eventually completely get rid of the preseason. It would be nice if we just had 20 regular season games at some point in the next 10 years.
Sure.
Right? Just let's get rid of preseason altogether and make the first one count. That's better for everybody, except for the health of the players, but who cares? That's for us. It's entertainment. But he's hinted 1,000 times over that it's probably going to be where you have one international game a year.
Yeah, well,
right.
Maybe.
Every team goes somewhere, whether they're as a host or as a visitor. You're going somewhere every year.
It's reasonable. I mean, that seems reasonable. I will say this: it's popular. American football is one of the reasons they chose Brazil is because it's popular in Brazil. Like, that is a sport. It's not it's not soccer, but it's a somewhat popular sport in Brazil. And what surprised me most about the game was how many people there were Brazilian, which becomes everybody's wearing NFL jerseys. You can't really tell, who's from America, who's not. And then they play, like, in between at commercials, they'll play like a Brazilian song, and 60% of the people of the stadium is dancing and singing along with this song and doing the hand motions. You're like, oh, like we're the minority in this particular group here. So,
well, you watched the Eagles win. They lost last night in heartbreaking fashion to Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. We'll talk about that when we get back. But also, John, your baseball team is falling apart, and they are on the brink of losing a playoff spot altogether. We'll talk about that during Front Page Sports after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
The Power Hour goes live at 8 a.m. It's powered by Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Watch it at KFAN.com/watch.
All right, Marty Gellner in about 57 minutes. Rosie in an hour and a half. Again, Jonathan Grenard of the Vikings, who was part of this defense that's just shutting everybody down the last couple of weeks. Did a great job against the 49ers. Obviously, they just absolutely obliterated the Giants. Vikings are 2-0. And they take on a team they've never lost to, the Houston Texans.
Hell yeah,
Was
man.
it 5-0 or something all time?
I think so, yeah. This will be sweet.
Way to jinx it, Cory.
He doesn't believe in that.
God, I wish my words were magical. Let's do Front Page Sports, because I'll tell you the opposite of magical. The Minnesota Twins.
It's approaching magical.
Time now for Front Page Sports, presented by Holiday Station Stores.
Holiday Station Stores, buy two, get one free Red Bull. At Holiday, for a limited time, you can mix and match any flavors you want. What do you want at Holiday? Get Red Bulls. You buy two, they give you one free.
I want a reliever.
No, they don't have
No. Mix and match Red Bull flavors, not what you need on your baseball team.
Reliever?
The Twins had a 3-0 lead. And then in the fifth, Cleveland got on the board with one. They added another one in the seventh, and then a 2-run home run in the eighth gave Cleveland a 4-3 lead, and that is the final. So a blown lead obviously sucks for the game. John Bonus, no, again, even before the loss, almost everybody thought the division was extremely unlikely. Not mathematically impossible, but just very unlikely. So it's not like, well, we needed to win that game against Cleveland to have any chance of coming back and winning the division. You just got to stay ahead of Detroit, but both things went the wrong way yesterday. The Twins lost to the Guardians, and Detroit beat Kansas City 7-6. So the Twins now 7.5 behind Cleveland. That's over. There's 12 games to go. But they're just a game and a half up on Detroit and only 2 up on Seattle. The Twins have 12 games left, 6 more on the road consecutively, by the way, and then they finish with the final 6 at home. So they have 3 more at Cleveland, then 3 at Boston, home against your Miami Marlins, and then home against the Baltimore Orioles. Those are your final 12 games with a game and a half lead over Detroit.
It's over.
Yeah, it was hard to. We've got an ongoing bit on the Gleeman and the Geek podcast about which I always talk about the worst loss of the season. Which one is going to be the worst loss of the season? Because what we have seen out of Rocco Baldelli's teams in the past, for instance, I'll bring you back to 2019. 2019, when they had that remarkable run, they had a 11.5 or something like 11-game lead or something in the division in early June. And by mid-August, we sat down in here at a post game, and they were now tied with the Cleveland after Cleveland won on a grand slam and extra innings off of our closer. And that was then the next day, Cleveland took a half-game lead because the Twins had a day off while Cleveland was playing. And then after that, Twins just played regular baseball again and won the division by like 4-6. People forget that. But that is the journey of a baseball season. Stuff like that happens every year. But you can take a look at that Grand Slam loss that tied up the division and say, that was the worst loss of the season. Like, that was when you knew you'd watch the whole thing collapse, etc. And so we've had an ongoing bit about, as we watch this kind of dwindle away, which of these is the worst loss, because they've managed to lose in an array of ways. They're not hitting. Their bullpen's exploding. Their pitcher, their young pitching is getting tired. Everybody's running on fumes. We may not yet be there, you know. There are still, they haven't blown this lead yet. And although they are a game and a half up, they essentially have like a 3-game lead. They're 2 ahead in the loss column, and even if they tie in the loss column, they end up winning the division because they've win over Seattle or Detroit because they have the tiebreaker. So it's almost like a 3-game or at least a 2.5-game lead in the division. But they've got to start winning games. They're like 9-18 in their last 27 games. They can't go 4-8 over these last 12 at that same pace and expect to win this division, because Detroit is playing pretty decent baseball. So, and the Twins, unfortunately, have a pretty tough schedule. This week is 3 more versus the best team in the American League, which is Cleveland, or maybe the second best team in the American League, which is Cleveland. Then 3 more versus the Red Sox, who are right on their tail. And then they finish the series with 3 more versus the Orioles, who are one of the better teams.
And they'll have something to play for.
Potentially have something to play for. Although that AL East is widened a little bit.
Yeah, they're 3 games behind the Yankees.
Right. So, they know it. The mood around Target Field with the players and with the coaches and with the management, everybody knows what's going on. It's driving people nuts. But they've just got to figure out some way to rebound, and this is going to be Rocco's biggest test yet to kind of figure out something that's going to turn this around.
Would this be different if they had added somebody at the trade deadline or attempted to spend that $30 million that they pocketed?
No, I mean, yeah. Here's what I mean, probably, right? I mean, what we have seen when they've had a lot of money like that is they spend it on one of 2 things, right? They either go out and get a really they get a star player like a Correa or a Josh Donaldson or somebody like that, right?
Yeah.
Or they add to their depth. Right, they'll add to veteran bench players, etc. They did a light version of the latter. They did none of the former, and at this point, it would really help to have another veteran starter that was healthy in the rotation. Right, it might now. If they weren't bargain shopping in the bullpen, almost all of their bullpen acquisitions are no longer on the team that they made during the offseason. I mean, they've just been released, right? And so, would they have done that? I don't know, but what this team has shown is they're not afraid to swing big on big players. With a big veteran bat right now, this lineup is really struggling, and it's a lot of the youth that is struggling. Jose Miranda's just disappeared.
Yeah.
Just completely disappeared. $30 million, having an extra $30 or $40 million, which is probably what they should have had to spend. Yeah, would they be a better team? Probably.
Why not just take that $30 million, invest in the Magnificent Seven, wait like 3 or 4 years, the money's going to be more than doubled, and then you can spend $60 million on a free agent. Why do I have to come up with all the good ideas?
Yeah.
It was like the 7 best stocks.
I think that's actually similar to what the Bullheads did.
Just took it and invested it?
Yeah.
How come they can't make money away from baseball and then invest it back into the baseball team?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's hang in there, kids. Like,
are we going to see the Pohlads on Shark Tank pitching Scrub Daddy or Ring doorbells?
I mean, they do have a growth. I mean, they regularly talk about. Think about it in their press releases about a incubation group for startups.
Incubus, great point.
Yeah, too bad we can't do that.
I forget the name of it, but yeah, they feature those pretty regularly. Every year they have about a dozen sort of startups that they work with to try and turn into something big.
Like twinsdaily.com and initialsgame.com.
No, they have not approached us yet.
I wonder why.
According to Google, their net worth is around $4 billion. You two know math and money. If they'd spent $30 million, would that have affected them? Like, would they have, not been able to make their mortgage payments? I'm asking. If you have $4 billion.
Well, 40 million would be what? 1/100th of 4 billion. So it'd be 1%.
Yeah.
And of course, that's
right?
not $4 billion in cash. That's
No,
$4
but
billion in assets.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Well,
Yeah,
I
not
wouldn't-
liquid
that's
cash.
not name call here.
Yeah,
I mean,
come on.
The Carolina Panthers of Anaheim are benching Bryce Young. It's over for him.
It's over.
Woof.
They're going to start Andy Dalton. He was the number 1 overall pick last year. Bryce Young, not Dalton. Number 1 overall pick last year. On Sunday, lost 26-3 to the Los Angeles Chargers, and he threw for 84 yards. So far this year, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The Panthers have been outscored 3 interceptions. Is that what I said? 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Panthers have been outscored 73-13 to the Saints and the Chargers. Bryce Young, in his 18 now career starts, 2-16. And somebody on, I think it was Around the Horn yesterday, said something like the 2 wins, I think they scored something like a total of 26 points or something.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if that's the exact number, but their point was the 2 games that they won, they barely put up any points. They just happened to have a team, a defensive performance that was good enough to get the victory. Look, could he go somewhere else maybe and start over and find new life? It's obviously it's possible. These are human beings, right? Maybe he figures it out. If this is it, if they never go back to him in Carolina and he never gets another true shot or never finds, you have to say he might be one of the 2 or 3 biggest busts in the history of the NFL.
I mean,
it's so close.
Yeah.
And some of the other guys that grenaded themselves out of the league, it was their own doing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's, off the field issues or mistakes or they're stupid as hell and they just made the dumbest choices. Bryce doesn't seem to have any of that. He just can't play.
But that's why he'll get another chance, don't you think?
Yeah, because he seems like a guy that is at least not making a whole bunch of off-field mistakes.
Correct.
He just can't make any good on-field decisions.
He's not an issue if you put him on your team. He's not a liability. The other thing, though, is yesterday, I think it was either NFL Live or I think it doesn't matter. But they asked Dan Orlovsky, their quarterback guy, and he had to it took him a minute when one of them asked him, is this it? And it took him a second. He was like, I don't think so.
Well, so everybody that I heard yesterday, and I think they're right, this is it for him in Carolina.
100%.
It's over in Carolina because you can't go back to him
also,
now.
Thank God. If you're Bryce, if you're him, you're like,
yeah.
What? Thank God that I don't have to deal with this
Carolina
organization
sucks.
anymore.
Right.
I mean, as bad as this year has been for him, I'll tell you a couple things that are going well for him. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, right?
Good point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Gino too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What that shows is, you've got a really talented guy. It turns out scheme, coaching, additional players around you, offensive line, these things matter to a young quarterback. He can't just elevate it by himself.
Somebody will trade for him in the next couple of weeks,
right?
Just because we can fix him. That's what it'll be.
I don't know if you trade for him though, because he
won't trade for him.
You just wait till they release him in a year or two, and then you get him for nothing. You don't want to trade for him and then have to take the contract.
What about Miami? Yeah, the contract. Yeah,
it's not like it's a giant deal, but it's still a number 1 overall pick deal.
Yeah, it's sad, man. He just doesn't have it. But he's also on the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
The worst, mismanaged. They have, other than that one, the Derek Brown, I think is his name, the guy that went to Auburn that played against the Gophers in that bowl game. He's the only star they have. No offense, Adam Thielen, but Adam Thielen's on the back end of his career. They have nobody.
But he's missing wide open receivers.
100%. He has a 31.9 QBR. He's been sacked 70 times. It's the David Carr situation.
Between him and Mac Jones, is it fair to say maybe it was just Bama's system?
I mean, Jalen's pretty good.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Because, Bryce Young and Mac Jones looked pretty good, too, when they were at Bama.
Yeah. I mean, and then, I don't know, man.
Well, and the talent that Alabama has around it.
Right.
I mean, I thought the Red Rifle was out of the league, and now
Yes,
he's going to
I
start
did
for
too.
Carolina.
I had no
I did
idea. I had no idea.
honestly,
He's 36, I think.
And he's a gink, right?
Yeah.
He's a ginger.
Yeah.
If you were to ask
See,
me,
that's dangerous. That nickname makes me uncomfortable.
I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
See?
Oh, you listen to that podcast?
With the hard K?
See? Oh, yeah. Give it to him. Give it to the Red Rifle.
if you were to ask me who Carolina would have as their backup quarterback,
Right, Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton just at the top of that list. Isn't he perfect?
When I saw like them warming up and I saw him with the helmet on, I'm like, Sam Darnold's also on the Panthers.
Yeah, they
again?
cloned him.
Yeah, it's
If
over.
somebody told you yesterday that Andy Dalton retired in 2015, would you have believed that?
Yes, yeah.
What really matters is next. Power Trip Morning Show fan.
The Fan.
Find our street team on the plaza outside of U.S. Bank Stadium this Sunday before the Vikings game against the Texans and enter for your chance to be our Rube of the game and win a $100 gift card to Shields plus a chance to win tickets to the final home game of the season. KFAN.com keyword calendar for more info.
All right, it's time for What Really Matters. I do scores and stats around the world of sports. Sauce, are you going to fill us in with something that actually matters?
100%.
That's great. The Falcons beat the Eagles 22-21. Kirk Cousins, 20 of 29 for 241, a couple of touchdowns and no interceptions. And he led the Falcons on a game-winning 70-yard drive with a touchdown to Drake London with just 34 seconds to go. Both teams now 1-1. Jalen Hurts, 85 yards rushing, about half of those on one drive. 183 yards in the air. Again, both teams now 1-1. But what really matters is this.
The deepest place on Earth is
Marianas Trench.
How deep is it?
Wow, that's a great question.
By feet.
Do you think it's as deep as like Everest is
Well, that's what
high?
I'm thinking. That's what I was going to. I was going to say 18,000, 20,000 feet deep, right?
It's deeper than that.
Deeper than that. All right, so then let's go.
Ta-da!
Man, I don't know how tall Everest is,
I
though.
will go. I think Everest is 20-some thousand, 22,000, something like that.
All right, then let's go 24,000 feet.
I will go 30,000 feet.
Zach,
I'm going to
go
go 45,000 feet.
Maxo?
I'll do 35.
Maxo is the closest.
Hey.
It's almost 7 miles. It's 36,201
All right.
feet deep.
All right, so
I knew that exact number. I was just trying to throw you guys off.
here was my thought process on that. I should have probably come up with 36. Is what I was going.
Go
If
on.
the Earth is 2/3 water, you would expect that they would be like a third bigger, a third deeper than a mountain is high. You know what I mean? The fact that if it was about even, if it was 50% water, you'd expect it to be about 24,000 deep versus 24,000. Was my I don't know if that logic actually
I don't
makes
know
sense.
if that logic
Deep,
makes
man.
any
It's really
sense,
deep.
but
That's
it
deep.
would have worked out for you.
Nerd!
So
It sounded good.
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of.
Debo Samuel apparently got hurt at the end of the Vikings game. Kind of quietly went under the radar, but Debo, with a couple of minutes to go, got injured. And he's going to miss a couple of weeks with a calf strain. So Christian McCaffrey out at least the next 3 because he's on IR. So he's going to miss at least 3 more. And now they're going to be without Debo.
Did Debo
For a
really
couple.
do anything?
Not much.
No.
I mean, again,
I wonder if this is one of these things where maybe it was a problem or something was going on beforehand, and that's part of
maybe,
why he's been
but
ineffective
according
for the last 2 games.
maybe according to Shanahan, though, it was a play that happened with a little more than 2 minutes to go.
Okay.
So, man, that's another big loss for the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah. Like everybody with a brain says every year, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. Right? Advantage to anybody that's got the Niners the next couple of weeks. When you don't have McCaffrey and Debo?
Man.
And Brandon Ayuk has sucked this season so
Ayuk
far.
has sucked so far.
Trent Williams hasn't played well.
Let's go. Doesn't matter. The Vikings already got the W, right?
Hell yeah, man. We're going to go all the way.
Right, 17-0, right?
16-1.
Okay. So yesterday you said 14-3. Now you're up to 16-1?
Yeah, I changed my mind a lot.
Fantastic. What really matters is this.
Lobsters are not biologically immortal, but they do produce an enzyme, that repairs their cells and helps their DNA to replicate indefinitely. I did not know that.
So lobsters are essentially mini Wolverines.
Yeah, they're mini T-1000s.
My guess is there are dozens of scientists trying to figure out how to harness lobster
100%.
replication or enzyme replication just so we can have humans find a way to regenerate cells. Right, we always talk about that with like sharks, that sharks don't get cancer.
Yeah.
Why? Let's figure that out and then let's give it to us. Let's steal all the good animal stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't
Put it in us.
Isn't that one of the plots of Spider-Man 2 or something with the lizard guy? He keeps growing back his arm.
Yeah, that is the first Spider-Man in the Andrew Garfield universe. That's the lizard.
This is the second one, though. First one?
It's the first one in that one, yeah.
Right, okay.
Almost positive, right? Because doesn't he go...
Maxo?
Yep, it's true. Because the second one is when he is Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
Yep,
right.
That one.
Terrible.
That one's not good.
Awful.
Terrible.
Awful.
He's so much better when he comes back in the newest Spider-Man.
Yeah. You know what else looks really bad, Maxo? The new Venom.
I'm shocked that got to 3 movies.
Yeah.
And you could tell they ran out of ideas in the trailer when there's a Venom horse.
Yeah, that looks terrible.
Enough.
Yeah.
Take him out back.
Yeah, put him down.
Turn him into glue. Venom glue.
Yeah. Is the first one good?
No, it's the best one, but it was bad. And even Woody Harrelson was bad in the second one. It's just none of these things that are ancillary to the main superhero are going to be any good unless they encounter the main superhero. Like, the Joker's great, but there's only so much I want to see him before I want to see him fight Batman.
Yeah.
Like, Venom is great, but if he's never going to meet up with Spider-Man, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Is there any rumor of Batman appearing in this second Joker?
No, I don't think he exists as far as we know in that universe.
Then you nailed it. What is the point?
What's the point? What's the end game?
Singing, I guess.
Oh,
they do a lot of singing.
Yeah, the reviews so far are worse than the first one.
Yeah.
And again, the first one is just an unbelievable performance by Joaquin, but not a great movie.
No.
Just he's so good.
Yeah.
The rest of it's like,
Well, I remember
fine.
watching that verse when I'm like, you know what this needs? It's more like a Star is Born energy. We need Lady Gaga. We need more music.
Yeah, you did say that a lot.
Yeah.
Right away.
And they listen.
You started singing in the theater.
I feel bad for calling the studio now and having them listen to my idea.
well, I called them, but they must not have listened very well because I said, we need a Venom horse.
Yeah.
And they put it in the wrong movie. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Gopher football hosts Iowa Saturday at 6:30. How about that? We got the night game. 6:30. Oh,
me too.
Are you going to tailgate with Tommy?
I don't know. I'm going with Scene Bear.
You should go tailgate with Tommy.
Why don't you tailgate with Tommy?
Lot 37.
Yeah, Scene Bear loves Tommy. I don't know what we're going to do. So, yeah, I'm going
What's
with
the
Scene
point
Bear.
of going to one game every decade if you're not going to go tailgate with Tommy?
I'll
Just go. Just have a couple drinks with Tommy. You know he's listening right now and he's about to text you saying, Paulie!
Yeah.
Lot 37! The Iowa Hawkeyes are 2.5-point favorites on DraftKings. And how about this? The over-under, 36.5.
That seems high.
Both teams are 2-1. I mean, Gophers haven't given up a point the last two games.
Yeah.
Back-to-back shutouts for the first time since
well.
1962. But what really matters is this.
Pineapples take 2 years to grow.
No.
I guess.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even doing a bit here.
Yeah.
So the
Pineapples.
What a pain in the ass. Fruit.
Put your hands down.
Is it a fruit or a vegetable?
It's a fruit.
Okay.
Yep, according to artificial intelligence here, a quick search, pineapples typically take 18 months to 3 years to grow.
What's the point?
But the time frame can vary depending on the climate, variety, and care of the plant. We'll take good care of them.
Yeah.
Well, no, don't take it. Just kill them. I'm not waiting 3 years
Pineapples
for
are
a
excellent.
pineapple.
Pineapples are excellent.
Yeah,
They're really
I'm
good.
sure they're great, but that's a lot of work.
Do you not eat pineapple?
No.
Oh, they're so good.
I'm glad I don't
they're
now.
so good.
Well, some people would prefer if you did.
Goodness.
So this one is saying that it takes the plant 2 years to flower, but then it takes the fruit only 6 months to grow.
Oh, okay.
That makes a little more
Yes.
sense.
I'm like, how does that, economically speaking, how does that work? If it's over even
Yeah, I
over
did
a
not
year?
want to spend the rest of my day thinking about the economics of pineapple growth. And now I'm going to spend at least the next 7 seconds thinking about it.
Yeah,
We get an expert.
Well, that's what sauce is.
that's me.
So my worst experience in Brazil was, we went to the grocery store. Chrissy's like, oh, well, I want to buy some bananas, but there's no bananas. Doesn't look like they're really yellow yet. They're green. Right? So she buys some green bananas. You guys ever tried to eat an unripe banana?
Yeah.
Worst thing in the world.
Oh, they're so sticky and
Terrible.
it's such a hassle,
I'm
man.
so glad I'm not alone.
Usually,
in this.
like, by the time you
What a
like,
disaster!
you peel it, you can already smell like this ain't gonna be good.
Right.
And of course, they're probably super ripe down there, right? I mean, whoa.
Well, provided you don't get the grocery store late at night, and all that's left
True.
is the unripe ones. Yeah, you ever done this, Cory?
Did we just meet?
You don't
Do you eat bananas, period?
No.
Okay, you don't eat bananas?
No.
Hot
Should be
sauce?
dead.
So
Yeah.
if you try to peel an unripe banana, it doesn't peel.
No.
No.
Yeah.
It just
It's a
sticks
hassle.
to the fruit. And what that and that stickiness gets all over your hands, and you can't wash it up.
No.
Ugh.
It's a disaster. And then even if you do get to the fruit's inedible. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Bananas have a shelf life of about 5 minutes. Because
They really do.
They're either
That's
too
true.
ripe,
That's
or
true.
once they start to go the wrong way, gross.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
It's banana bread time, yeah.
yeah.
They got to get the U on that. Like, we got to genetically modify these bananas. Give them more time. They just need more time.
Leave it up to the Gophers.
Minnesota becomes the new banana
Yeah.
leader, yeah.
The Wild have their first preseason game of
Zacco!
2024 this Saturday at the Winnipeg Jets.
No way.
Oh, yeah. The first preseason home game for the Wild is next Friday, the 27th, also against Winnipeg. The regular season starts for the Wild on October 10th against something called Columbus.
There is nothing better than preseason hockey. I really can't wait.
That's my bit.
They should add more preseason hockey. I think we have like last year's like 7 or 8 games preseason. I'm like, ugh. But no, it's good. They got to get ready, and it's been a long summer, so we'll get back into the whole winter thing starting Saturday. Apparently, that's crazy. It's snuck up on most of us.
We'll have it fully covered at hockeywilderness.com. You like your Minnesota Wild?
That was organic. What really matters is this.
The printing press, which revolutionized the sharing of information, was invented by
Gutenberg.
Around what year?
Like 1513?
That sounds right. I'm going to go 1637.
I'll say 14.
Yeah, I was in the 14s as well.
14.
You guys are probably right.
I'm going to go, just for the weed smokers, I'm going to go 1420.
1440.
Hey. Out on my dog Gutenberg.
You know, Steve Gutenberg is part of that lineage.
I did not know that.
100%. So theoretically, the script for Police Academy would not have been printed without his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, well, now you did.
That's who we get to blame, huh?
What do you mean, who to blame?
He loves
What's wrong with the Police Academy? Say that to Pat Proff's face. I love the Police Academy movies. Michael Winslow doing sound effects. Bobcat being Bobcat.
Yeah, they're okay.
You're right.
Gutenberg being Gutenberg.
It was an unwarranted cheap shot. Okay.
It was.
Yep.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yep.
More of what really matters after this. Power Trip Morning Show fan.
The Fan.
Miss stopping by our booth at the State Fair. Shop our KFAN Pro Shop now to stock up on all your favorite new designs. Get them soon before they're gone. That's KFAN.com, keyword store to shop today. Please don't yell at me anymore, Barb.
All right, more of What Really Matters. Marnie Gellner in like 15 minutes. Rosie in less than an hour. John Bonus is here, though, back from Brazil.
We haven't gotten to Rio yet.
What do you mean we haven't gotten to Rio yet?
We've talked about Sao Paulo. We have not talked about Rio.
See, I'm confused then. I didn't know you went to both. I thought you just went to Sao Paulo for the game.
No.
I thought all your references to Rio were just your knowledge of Rio without going to Rio.
No.
Oh.
Time out. Whose is it?
See, now it's starting to make more sense.
That's why I have 2 weeks.
Okay, then hang on a second here. Sidney Crosby signed a 2-year extension with the Penguins. Now through 27, he's locked up with the Penguins. He was the number 1 pick in the 2005 draft. Isn't that insane? I mean, I know LeBron's still playing, and he was in 2003. But we're talking about, like, for guys like Max and Zach, their entire lives, Sidney Crosby's been playing hockey, and LeBron James has been playing basketball.
It's
At least,
insane.
their conscious life. The whole way. You guys don't know those two sports without those two guys.
No, it's going to be really weird one day when they're not around. Like, Sidney Crosby is the face of the NHL to me, and he always has been since I was a kid. And LeBron pretty much the same way for the NBA. I'm still getting used to not having Tom Brady on the field in the NFL. It's incredibly odd to me. Is Crosby still good, Zacho?
Yeah, he's doing really, really well. I don't know what his stats were last year exactly, but he's pulling his weight. He's earning his due, and we saw Ovechkin kind of take a step back this past season, but 42 goals and 52 assists for 94 points. In fact, that is let's see here, 94.
All off the top of your head, that's incredible.
This is the last 4 years here. Actually, let's see he was hurt 3 or 4 years, but had 52 points 2 years ago. 93 points 2 years ago, 94 this year. I mean, this is a guy that's still lighting it up, and wow, I'm a big fan of him. He's a good dude. Everybody talks about it. I've
heard he's excellent,
awesome character dude, and
Zucker raved about him. Said he's the best.
Said he's one of the nicest guys in the league.
But what really matters is this about Rio.
Breaking news: there's a lot of thongs in Rio.
Okay, now you have Max's attention.
I'm here.
Max is on.
My antennas are up.
That is not the only thing that you had up.
Go on. So is this the seductive part of the city?
The whole city is... Rio's a much more interesting city than Sao Paulo. Rio is built in the middle. First of all, the landscape around it is gorgeous. Right, like the whole Jesus on the hill and stuff. That is because it is surrounded by these enormous hills, which you would think would make it almost impossible to build a city there.
I like it. Christ the Redeemer. You just called Jesus on the hill.
Yeah, even Cory knows what it is.
Whatever.
Jesus on the hill.
It sounds like a new podcast.
Is he testifying right now?
PA, I've got this great idea.
Oh man! Did you go see it?
Maxo did. Absolutely.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It was fantastic.
Did you hike or you took the train?
We took a tour. Actually,
sweet.
To be honest with you. We packed all of our touristy stuff in Rio into one 6-hour tour. It was great.
Yeah, I don't blame you. People get robbed on the hike.
Oh, do they? Really?
Yeah, I had to sign a waiver just to go into the woods.
Well, and I don't know that I'd want to go up. That's just a long climb.
It is. And there's wild monkeys, man, which sounds cool and sounds fun until there's nothing between you and a wild monkey.
Well, and these are not small monkeys.
No.
Because we saw some while we were up there. We saw some of the wild monkeys.
Yeah.
And,
man, that would be so cool to see monkeys in the wild. I'm being serious. That would be badass.
It was
monkeys
cool,
are sweet,
but terrifying.
Well,
what kind of monkeys?
And of course, they're perched. I don't know the name. But, they've got to be...
Did it look like Marcel from Friends, where they capuchin monkeys?
They were about the size of, say, a grocery bag. Something about...
What a weird thing to compare a size to. I've never heard somebody say it's about the size of a grocery bag.
Yeah, about right.
Are you talking plastic or reusable or paper?
No, paper. Yeah,
paper
bag.
And are you talking about the one with the handles or the one that's more taller? The grocery bag.
I'm talking about the one with the handles.
Does it look like does it look like the monkey at the end of American Beauty that's floating up?
I have not seen all
brilliant.
of the...
Got it. That's a really good reference, Cor. It took me a while because you're smarter than I am, but that's pretty funny. I get that. I mean, it's a dated
It's always good when somebody doesn't laugh and then go, "That was very funny."
But like, it was funny and clever enough that it just deserves like the
Tip of the cap.
I don't know.
Have you guys ever seen the Family Guy episode where they rip on Oscar-winning movies? They rip like Forrest Gump, and American Beauty is one of them. You should watch it. They destroy that movie for how dumb it is and how they obsess about the floating plastic bag. Yeah. Very funny.
Yeah.
I also didn't laugh when I just said the story, but you got to trust me. It's very funny.
All right, I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah, give it a whirl.
Did you guys make a 7th Avenue pizza?
No. What are you
can
talking
tell
about?
by Zach's attitude he did not make one.
It smells delicious in here.
It does smell good.
Okay, so anyway, we're getting distracted. There's a lot of thongs.
A lot of thongs. It's also right on the ocean. There's plenty of beaches. Copacabana Beach, Ipanema Beach. And Ipanema Beach has unbelievable sunsets.
Sure.
And where basically all of the young, attractive people go out on a big rock on the point of the beach and end up sitting there and watching the sunset. And then they all... Sunset happens, and then they all go to start hitting
clubs,
each other, etc. Right?
Yep. So give me the safety factor between Rio and Sao Paulo.
Oh, I'd say, Sao Paulo felt safer, I think, overall. But that was also because there's a much bigger, like the NFL was there. There was a bigger, security presence, I think, in general. I don't know how comfortable I would feel going to most of Rio.
That's kind of what you said, Max, right? That like the nice places were nice and you felt safe, but if you went down the wrong path, it was like immediately the dirtiest places you've ever seen and were terrified.
Legitimately, you're one street away from heaven, 2 streets away from hell at all times. Like the favelas.
So like New Orleans.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, I would imagine. But the favelas in Brazil make the ghettos in the United States look like the Hamptons. Like it's true poverty. It's really sad to see and pretty harrowing, but it's and that mixed in with some of the most beautiful sights you've ever seen on Ipanema and Copacabana Beach. It's kind of a jarring experience.
That is exactly right. Yeah, one of the previews I read of Rio was, Rio is problematic. and that's a great way to describe Rio.
Yeah.
It is problematic. You are right. You are two blocks at all times from something a little dicey, and then it could get a lot worse. And but on the other hand, it's gorgeous beaches, and the dollar is so strong there, and beautiful scenery and beautiful people, and people playing. I mean,
slabs.
It's great.
Grocery bag sized monkeys.
Yeah, slabs. That's up there. Yeah,
so many slabs.
Grocery sized big monkeys.
That's a huge bitch. Freak. Oh.
Is it my turn? Marnie's going to be here in a second. The Lynx are at Connecticut at 6 o'clock. The Lynx are 29-9. Connecticut 27-11. So 2 of the best teams in the WNBA.
Yeah, man.
Squaring off. Regular season wrapping up pretty quick here. It's almost playoff time for the Lynx. Let's see what Cheryl Reeve can do.
Hell yeah.
With Nafisa Collier and a bunch of gals I went to high school with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What really matters, though, is this.
Oh, yeah, my turn. I thought we were going to hear more about butt cheeks.
Do you have anything about buck cheeks?
Excuse me, about butt cheeks?
I went for the K sound before the T sound there. That's my bad.
It happens. German chocolate cake was invented in Texas.
What?
The German
Which is crazy because Texas Hold'em was invented in Germany.
Really?
Yeah, that was my next. Yeah. Wow.
I almost got a laugh from Cory there. That was
Zachary?
Got a lip quiver.
Zachary.
Yeah.
That Texas Hold'em joke? Mm-hmm. Despite me not laughing, was very funny.
I don't have to always laugh. That was a sign of respect.
Thank you. The one day you say you're trying to give me a tip of the cap is the one day you're not wearing a hat.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Couldn't find your hat? Don't you have multiple hats? You just got a hat for your birthday.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go back into because if I walk back into the bathroom, I have to go back through our room, and my wife was sleeping. I don't want to wake her up.
Because you got her pregnant?
I did get her pregnant, yeah.
Man.
Way to go, man.
Yeah.
Does your dad know?
My dad doesn't. Corey's dad does.
Okay.
Yeah, he's heard about it through the grapevine. My dad's on Reddit, so he saw.
Oh, God.
I hope not.
Is that him?
Oh, yeah.
It said that about me?
Like I said, the guy likes the scuttlebutt, and he wants all the rumors, so he goes on Reddit.
Man, Reddit.
Sure, he doesn't know how to get, iHeart to open up on, Alexa, but he sure as hell can find Reddit boards.
Yeah, he can, but he knows where to find the hatred for the power.
For sure. My turn again? The Vikings host the Texans Sunday at noon here on the Fan. Both teams are 2-0. The Texans have C.J. Stroud, luckily not Bryce Young.
Oof.
Otherwise, everything would be different.
You are correct.
Butterfly effect to the nth degree. That is Sunday right here on the Fan, your home for Vikings football. 10 o'clock pregame, fan line follows. What really matters, though, is this.
Lemons float, limes sink. Because limes are denser than lemons. They drop to the bottom of a glass. All right, math, man. They drop to the bottom of a glass while lemons float on top.
You are the lime of the Power Trip Morning Show.
Well, you're the...
Not that you sink, you're just more dense.
And the lime doesn't float because it's denser than the lemon, right? It's because it's denser than the water that it's in.
I don't ask bonus.
Look at Zacho.
That is correct.
Science, bitch.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, is that...
Hey. New
watched-
podcast?
Yes. With Zach Halverson.
Yep, right, Zacho. Whatever floats your boat. The answer is buoyancy.
Aw.
I don't think you're very dense, Paul. At least not compared to a lime.
I've moved on. What?
You were the lime of the Power Trip Morning Show when you tried to swim those 10 laps, and I bet Carly $1,000 you couldn't do it.
Not a lot of buoyancy there.
No, you sank after a lap and a half.
Yeah.
That was the easiest money I have ever made in my entire life, and I've had an easy life.
Yeah, there are moments in my life where I was down in the dumps. That was probably on the top of the list.
Yep, and that was one of my favorite moments of mine.
Shocking.
So, yin and yang. You know how it works.
Please die soon.
I thought you said, please, sir? Like you were Oliver Twist begging for food? Please, sir. And then you added die soon.
Please, die soon.
Have you swum since that moment? In an ocean, in a pool, anywhere.
You got a lake up there, right? That you live next to sometimes?
Yeah, I have a lake.
But you can't really
You
jump in the water there, can you?
I've walked in and floated on an inner tube, and then
That doesn't count.
You'll be shocked who had to come out and save me.
Dov.
Yeah, he had to swim me back in. Yeah.
Throw me a rope. That's what I would
Why
do.
couldn't you swim in yourself on an inner tube?
I was too far away. I floated. I was clanking and dranking. Just letting the water take me.
What's more embarrassing?
Too many high noons.
What's more embarrassing? You not being able to swim and then Carly giving me $1,000, or having to ask your adult brother to swim out and tug you back to shore?
Probably the $1,000 thing, because he knows that was. He knew that journey was upon him once he saw his fat, overweight brother get on an inner tube. He even said, he's like, just let me know. I'll swim out and get you.
How did you let him know?
Too far. I yelled for him.
Oh, man.
Stop! He dove in and went and got me.
It's the equivalent of when Hanks watched Wilson float away and he realizes, I can go get him, but I don't know if I can get back to this raft.
Yeah.
I wonder if Dov had that same thought. Is it worth going to save Paul, or should I just let him to float out in the middle of this lake? Because, as you just said, you have a lake. It's your lake.
Yeah.
I would have just let you float.
Yeah.
You would have floated forever, man. That's a big lake.
Yeah, I'd still be floating. Would you guys have missed me?
Absolutely.
I would.
Thanks, Boney.
I don't know how we would possibly go on without the Power Trips lime.
You could easily go on without.
In general, do you like limes or lemons?
I like limes because they go good with a tequila soda, which I've had a few in my day.
Probably on that inner tube.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I like drinking up there. It's like the only place I drink. Well, that and Manny's. I get pretty hammered there, but that's for a different time.
I've got a Grandpa Bonus has a question. When you say clankin' and drankin',
yeah.
Is that just because clanking rhymes with drankin', or is clanking a slang term that refers to an actual verb that I don't understand?
I think that just means hitting glasses together.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Clanking their glasses together. Like, cheers.
Okay, got it.
But if you want to clank later,
I don't know. My cousin came up.
Zach used to walk across the street and go to this bathroom over here and clank it. The news is next. Marnie should join in a second. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.
The Fan.